Hello and welcome to Salzburg. Did you know that Salzburg was not always the city of Mozart? That the people of Salzburg, after Mozart's death, actually forgot about him for a while. And do you think that he really looked like that? These questions and more I will answer in this video. My name is Gerhard. I'm the founder of the free walking tour here in Salzburg, and today's topic is how the Mozart cult started and when the Mozart statue was built. Now Mozart, he was born in Salzburg 1756 and he died very young. He died with only 35 years in 1791. Salzburg until then was independent still and lost its independence just after Mozart died. After Mozart died, times were more troubling. Also Mozart, he didn't really like Salzburg, and Mozart moved away for a good 10 years before he died. So no wonder people forgot about him. The square where the Mozart statue is nowadays, it's called Mozart Square. But back then the square was called St. Michael's Square. There was a fountain for St. Michael, and not all people agreed that St. Michael should be replaced by Mozart 50 years after Mozart's death. Many people forgot about him, and for them the saint was more important than Mozart was. But the city built the statue anyway for the 50th anniversary of Mozart's death, or wanted to build the statue for the 50th anniversary. More on that later. And that's how the Mozart cult began. When the statue was inaugurated, there was a 3-day festival. From that time on, concerts were organized more often, a small music school started, the Mozarteum Foundation started also, and that's how Mozart became more popular again from the middle of the 19th century. Nowadays it's all about Mozart. You have Mozart chocolates everywhere. There are the 2 Mozart houses. They are run by the Mozarteum Foundation. That's what was founded also back then, kind of. And the music school later became the music university, Mozarteum. And those concerts they did more often from that time on. That was when the idea of an actual festival was born. Because of the troubling times, it took a while until the first festival happened in 1920. But that 1920 festival is the Salzburg Festival, and the Salzburg Festival is the biggest festival for classic music in the world. It's the 100th anniversary this year of the Salzburg Festival. Now about Mozart, they said that he was not very handsome. His sister said that his God-given talent in music doesn't match his appearance. He was only 1 meter and 56 centimeters tall. Mozart had scars from smallpox that he had as a child. He was writing with the left hand and still with a feather. Pencils were not invented at that time yet. Here you can see he has a pencil in the right hand. That's because back then they thought that being left-handed is a bad sign. Nowadays we know that it's more about creativity. So the statue, it doesn't exactly match the real Mozart, what we know from the real Mozart. And the same is true to all of the portraits. If you go to the birthplace, you can see original portraits, but none of those portraits look like they described Mozart. And remember, I told you that they wanted to finish the statue for the 50th anniversary of Mozart's death. Now what happened? The reason they didn't finish was that when they started laying a foundation, they found rests from a Roman city that was here before. The Romans were here until about 450 after Christ, and Salzburg was founded in 696. The thing they found was a mosaic. You can see a replica of that mosaic over there next to the statue. The original is in the museum nowadays, but that's why it took another year to finish the statue. The statue was finished for the 51st year of Mozart's death. I also told you before that Mozart died very young. He died when he was only 35 years old. Mozart's widow, she was living in the house behind the statue, and what's interesting about that is that Mozart's widow, she died when she was 85 years. 50 years, almost exactly 50 years after him. And because of that delay of 1 year, she didn't see the finished statue anymore, and she was not here for that 3-day festival, for that 3-day party to inaugurate the statue. So a sad end to a long story. If you watched until here, I thank you very much. If you want to see more of these videos, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, post them in the comments below. Send me a message. I hope to see you in Salzburg someday. And thank you again. Bye bye.